Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rodian and today we are going to be building an Ogee arch. It's back there already. So first off, with every arch that you build, you're going to have to go to the pen and paper and the drawing board to do a little bit of maths. So what we'll do, we'll flip over and do that first, and then we'll come back, set the turning piece up and get laying some bricks. When you set out for the turning piece for this Ogee arch, there's a couple of things you're going to need. One, for a bit of paper, we're going to need a ruler, but in real life, when you're on site, you'd want to change this out for a level and a tape measure. You will also need a square, and in real life you'd probably need a framing square would be the best one for that. And then also you'll need a pencil and a pair of compasses for on a piece of paper, and when it comes to doing it on site, instead of this you'd need a pencil and a trammel. Now I will link all of the on-site tools down in the description if you want to go and check those out, but this is what we're going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'll do it on paper here, and it's exactly the same process as if you were on site, but just obviously with larger tools rather than these tiny little squares and things like that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is measure our span and then turn that span into an equilateral triangle. Now to do that, what we'll do is we'll take that span, so in this case the span is 8 centimeters, so that could be 800 mil, it could be anything, but in this case it's 8 centimeters. So we know that. Now an equilateral triangle is a triangle where all the sides are the same length, so 8. Now to do this, we need to bisect. I'll tell you what, first thing is I'll draw the span on. So that's the span. Now we need to bisect that line so we can have, essentially you cut that in half, so you have a line running right the way down the middle. Now to do that, what we need to do is open up your compasses or trammel to over halfway. It doesn't matter where, as long as it's over half, and then all you do is you draw 2 little arcs, and you do that on both sides. So you get 2 crosses. Now with these crosses, all you need to do is just draw a line straight through the middle, connecting them together. That gives you the center of that span. Now we need to make sure that this line goes all the way up. So something like that, that looks good. Now we'll take our tape measure, or ruler in this case, and that 8 centimeters, we'll transfer that onto this line. So 8 centimeters comes to there. I should really have sharpened this pencil properly because it's a little bit off, but now that point from there to there should be 8 centimeters, which it is. Oops, sorry. Like so. Now that gives you a nice equilateral triangle. Now the next thing we need to do is take your compasses or your trammel, put the spiky point in the center, align your pencil with one edge, like so, and draw a semicircle. Ooh, if I was on the correct line, that would be helpful. And draw a semicircle. Like so. That's the first part done. Now the next part, all we need to do is draw a box around these 3 points. This is where the square comes in handy. But first off, we'll just elongate these sides. Like so, and take your square. And you connect the side line that we just drew with the top of the equilateral triangle. And that will give you something that looks like this. Now you take your compass or your trammel and you put your points the same as they were when you drew the semicircle, and you take that without moving it, you move them onto the points here and here, and then from there you draw the line. That will connect the two together. And that will give you your Ogee arch. If I try and colour in and darken the areas that we would use on a piece of wood to cut out. It's this section here. And that gives you the template for the Ogee arch. Now from this point, we take this bit of maths here and transfer that onto some plywood out on the site. So what I'll do is we'll take this and we'll go back outside and set out our turning piece ready to build the arch. Now we're out here on site in the real world, and I've taken the liberty of building the turning piece already and building up just 4 course, just so that we can get an idea of how to set this up. This could be a doorway, a window or anything. So I just put 1 course down here, just I guess for a windowsill or something like that. Anyway, so build the turning piece, and once it's cut out, you don't have to do it once it's cut out, you can do it before it's cut out. It depends. You want to take a piece of string and you want to run it from the bottom corner all the way up along to the top. Now with this piece of string, you mark the top, or you cut the top, or you hold your finger on the top and you straighten it out in a straight line, and you get a tape measure and find out how long that piece is. So then you can divide that line, that length, by 75, which is a course of bricks and a bed. It's gauge, so 75mm for a gauge. And what you'd want to do is, if that doesn't work out exact brickwork, you want to adjust it. Now, you would preferably have smaller joints, so go between 70 to 75 or somewhere around that line will give you a good joint. You don't want to go any bigger than 75 because it just looks a bit rough really. The smaller the joint the better, I find, but then again it's down to personal preference. And then you want to take your pair of compasses and mark out the 70 or 75 or whatever it is on the actual turning piece, so that you have a guide of where you can put your bricks, and you will always meet up at the same point at the top at the end. Now in this case I had 690 and it ended up being 10 courses, well 10 bricks, so that works out to be quite a strange number. What number would that be?
69 dudes!
Yeah, so that works out to be 10 bricks all the way up. Now the other thing that I'd suggest that you do is, when you put the turning piece in, put a piece of timber either side just to hold it up, and then on the top you want to have a little 10mm piece so that you can pull that section out, and then the whole thing will drop just that 10mm, so you can pull it out, pull the turning piece out without having to disturb any of the brickwork. And it just makes it so that you're not bashing it around and damaging the brickwork while it's in there and still wet, because you want to pull this out while it's still wet so you can joint up the insides. What else? Also, I would suggest that you build up either side of the arch that you're going to build up to the top, either side, and just rack it back so that you can put a set of string lines up. In this case, I've got profiles that I've put in a couple of fence posts either side, just so I can run it up so I don't have to build it up all the way. It makes it easier for me, so I can just jump straight in and build this for you without me having to build corners up previously. So I think that's everything that we need to pay attention to. And from here, you also want to take a bit of thought beforehand, and you want to measure from the top, the very top, tippity top, to the bottom, and divide that again by courses, because what you want is, by the time you build it up, you want the joint to be here, so then a full brick sits on top of that. You can adjust the gauging to suit, which is what I'm going to do. They're going to be 70mm courses all the way up rather than 75. You get thinner joints, but I think the thinner joints, as I said, look nicer. So by the time you get from the base, this springing point here, up to the top there, again 70mm per course, and should be looking very nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build up to here, plonk it all in, and then I'll just put one course on top so you'd see what it looks like if it was in a wall, if it was a window or something like that. I'm not going to make a massive feature of it. I'm just going to put it in so you can get the idea of how it's built. Right, okay. I think that's everything I need to say. So if there's anything I've forgotten, I'll just discuss it as we go. Right, so let's lay a few bricks. Right, as I go along, I like to do probably 3 courses at a time. I say courses, 3 bricks up at a time, and then go to the other side. You like to do it evenly so that if for some reason there is some amount of give, like if you float over any of these lines that we have put on, then you know that you need to do it on the other side or tuck them down or vice versa. It just goes up in symmetry. It's what I like to do. People probably do it different ways, but that is how I like to do it. So because it's going at an angle, you like to have more muck on the top than at the bottom, and because I've got 70mm, there's not really a great deal going on there. So we try and have it sort of almost a wedge shape. Now I probably didn't need to do that because I've already put muck down, so I'll take half of that off. And also we'll drop that line. Generally it's a good idea to have a little bit more muck on it, just so that you can tap it down, and I'll tell you what, that's we're running a bit skinny there. Now in this case, you can see that that joint looks quite big, and we're running low. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but we're running low on this line here. So from here, I'm probably going to bump this brick up a bit so that it evens out this joint here, just to make it look a bit more acceptable, because that is massive. So we'll take this off, just put a bit more muck on there so it comes over that line of fraction. Now the one problem with doing rough arch like this without cutting voussoirs is you get this sort of wedge shaped joint. Now a voussoir is when you cut the actual brick to suit, so all the joints are 10mm from intrados, the inside of the arch, to the extrados, which is the outside of the arch. So throughout the whole thing it's even 10mm. Now in this case I'm doing a rough arch, which means you don't cut the bricks. So the next arch I will do, I will explain about voussoirs and cutting bricks so that you can get that nice straight line. But in this case it's going to be a rough arch, so you do have that wedge shape joint, which some people like and some people don't like. But once it's pointed up, probably a bit of a bird's beak pointing, it looks quite nice. You can get away with that wedge shape in there, as opposed to just rubbing it up in a typical bucket handle or half round joint fashion. But we'll get to that once it's finished. So pop over to the other side, do another 3, and then we'll get a few in and try and get this thing done. Well, there we go, one Ogee arch. I'm very impressed with how it's come out. However, there are 2 things I would have done differently, or should have done differently. Right, if you've already spotted them, pause the video now, down in the comments. What are these 2 things that I should have done differently? I'll wait 1 second while you do that. And right, okay, I'll flip you around and I'll explain what I would do different next time. Right, okay, so number one, this here. I was in a bit of a rush to finish it because I'm running out of time to do this video, and these two, well, these two and these two should be, that should be one brick and that should be one brick, and it shouldn't be on the wonk. These two cuts that I put in here should be a little bit bigger to compensate, so that would just be one course straight the way through without the little wobble in it. That's what I would do differently, number one. And number two, as I said earlier about the voussoirs, I've got 2 cuts there and also 2 cuts here. What I would have done is I would have made them all cuts, to be perfectly honest with you, made them all voussoirs, because this is such a small arch that there's just not enough room on the turns to get a full half back brick in. So realistically I should have done them all as voussoirs, but I just wanted to show you how to do an Ogee arch. And I'll tell you what I will do, I will keep hold of the turning piece and another video. If you would like me to do another video, again, please let me know down in the comments. I would do a video with the same arch, but just cut them all out of voussoirs. So if that's what you guys want, then I'll more than happily do it, because those are the couple of things that I would change about this. Apart from that, I'm very happy with it. I was originally thinking that the bricks might be a bit too haggard and a bit too old for it to look good, but again, my choice in aesthetic is probably, I really like the way it looks. I'm very happy with the way it's come out. And also, as you notice on the top, I haven't bedded these bricks. That is because I ran out of muck, and I didn't really want to go and get, or sorry, not really, I didn't really have time to go and get some more sand and lime. Oh, and for those of you who are interested, the muck I'm using is just sand and lime. 4 parts sand to 1 part lime and water. I do that because I'm taking this down every time I build it, and I don't really want to be taking it down when it's built out of cement, like that one in the back, the play button back there. That's built out of cement, and that's ended up staying there because that would have been a pain to take down. Plus I think it looks cool. So there we go. Okay, so it's 3 things. I would have bedded the top and probably put 2 more course on just to show you how it would have actually looked in the wall, like I said I was going to do. But on the whole, I think it looks fantastic. I'm very happy with it. I'll try and show you from a different angle. Yeah, that's come up blinding, that has. Very happy. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what do you think? Think it's good? You don't like it? Each to their own, but I'd love to hear. So yeah, please do let me know down in the comments. Right, I think that's all we got time for today. Hope you all enjoyed this build. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and glad I got around to doing it. So please do leave a like down below if you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in the next episode. So take care, and I'll see you then. Ta-ra.